Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The cryptocurrency market has been in turmoil after a massive sell-off that wiped out billions in value. Many are now questioning whether the so-called Trump crypto boom, which saw a surge in meme coins tied to the former U.S. president, or the current U.S. president, was just a fleeting trend. Now, with the Philippines ranking second in global cryptocurrency ownership, regulatory changes from the SEC, and growing fintech interest in the country, we ask, what's next for crypto investors? Here to break it down for us is Arlone Abello, CEO of Global Miranda Miner Group, also known as Coach Miranda Miner. Coach, thank you so much for joining us and welcome back to Follow the Money. Coach, can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I'm still hearing a lot of echo, Raine. Sorry.
Oh no, how do we, maybe we should try and fix that. Should we continue or would you like some time to?
I think if we need to, I'll try to reconnect, but...
All right, we'll get back with Coach Miranda Miner in a moment. Stay on BNC. And we are here with Arlone Abello, our Coach Miranda Miner, to everyone else, CEO of the Global Miranda Miner Group. Grateful you could make time for us, Coach. The crypto market has taken a serious hit with meme coins linked to Trump plummeting. Is this just another cycle, or is the so-called Trump crypto boom officially over?
Hey, Raine, so thanks for having me, Bilyonaryo, and happy to be here on the third time. This drop, on the price of crypto, particularly even the Trump meme coin, is obviously part of profit taking that has happened, particularly on the Trump token that was launched. It started at 0.18 cents a piece. It peaked to almost an extended price of 79, within the neighborhood $79, and there was a massive crash after that. Currently, it sits at around $29 a piece. So we've seen profit taking from folks who obviously were able to buy it at the bottom. Obviously, there's also rechanneling and repurposing of funds. What we've seen so far from our research is that the folks that sold the token of Trump, the Trump meme token, repurposed the funds to buy Ethereum-based tokens, and they call them strategic purchases. So I would say this is not an end of the boom. This is the market repurposing their funds. We call it fund flow paradigm, Raine, where people obviously take profit and buy it on some of their strategic purchases, and just goes back to their strategic narrative on how they maintain their portfolio for the big picture.
Would you say that prices right now are at a low enough level so that we can buy in? You talk about risk management and trading, and after this crash, what's your advice for Filipino crypto investors moving forward?
So currently, Bitcoin is within the neighborhood of 100. It has been ranging actually from $101,000 to $104,000. There was an FOMC update yesterday, early morning of Philippines time, and it was, I would say, hawkish, dovish, hawkish, as always. So the market, though, picked up from what Powell mentioned on crypto, assuming that it's okay to connect with the banks in their transactions. So when there was a mention of crypto, Bitcoin start to have this micro pump again. To answer your question, I would say traders and investors need to reassess their portfolio. I don't think it's the time to do panic selling. We need to go back to our portfolio narrative. In this particular case, as I always say to my community, we need to stay diversified from a risk perspective and assets perspective. There are a lot of meme tokens today, but since we're seeing majority of the macro tokens are on a ranging price movement, it does not mean that we'll stop participating in some of the meme tokens. You can allocate around 10% of your portfolio to participate on those highly volatile tokens. Limit it within that neighborhood so it does not necessarily, wreck your portfolio. And obviously, as I always say, do not invest money that you're not able to afford to lose.
Right.
Raine?
So are you saying that at this point, I mean, you talked about panic selling, but what about buying? Are prices low enough at this point? And given the rise, again, you were saying, given the rise and fall of meme coins, are they a viable investment, or should traders shift focus to more established cryptocurrencies?
So my answer is, I would say, my answer would be both, in the sense that from a meme coin perspective, it's a fun coin, it's a fun token to trade. However, most of them have no use cases. I was just reviewing a couple of AI tokens earlier, and some of them have really no use cases. Some of them are just community tokens. It's fun to have, and having them long term does not make any sense. So if based on your risk profile, if you are someone who wants to avoid, massive volatility, massive movements, for example, Trump token, when it was launched on a Saturday, a day after Gensler resigned, it was launched on a Saturday, the price was 0.18. On a Monday, the price was already almost $50 a piece. So there's multiple exponential movement of these tokens, but only to go down again from an average of $70 down to almost $29. If you're not able to obviously navigate that risk profile, then stay with the more stable tokens like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
And you were mentioning volatility. The Philippines, of course, now still ranks second in global cryptocurrency ownership. Isn't that lower than in 2023? Or what does that say about local investor sentiment?
My 2 cents on it is that the drop in the ranking is not necessarily a decrease in the appetite of Filipino folks from a crypto standpoint. I would say it's potentially more of a global industry trend at this point. We have seen rising markets at this point. One of the things that I always say for my traders is that, keep your focus on the long-term narrative. There's always going to be those, what you say, short-term retracements. I've said this many times when I was interviewed on a different station. I think that was October of 2023 when Bitcoin price back then was around $35,000. We did forecast from our research. We did forecast a couple of retracements, profit taking on key level resistance after key level corrections. When the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved on January of 2024, we did see the price of Bitcoin getting institutional radar and eyeball, so to speak. Therefore, the price went to almost $60,000. It's double in a span of 3 months, ballpark. So, and then it went down again to around 48,000, only to go up to almost 74. And then, history is obviously, it repeats itself. There's obviously a, short-term retracements, but long-term uptrend. So in these cases, Raine, as I always say to my community and to the many folks that are listening to my research and forecast, long-term narrative, most especially, and I'm sure you guys know this as well, we're still observing and expecting 2 more rate cuts this year, which for us is obviously a bullish scenario for the most part, when obviously from an equities perspective and crypto perspective.
Understood. Well, meanwhile, we touched on regulation. The SEC is drafting new rules for crypto service providers here in the Philippines. Have you had a chance to review some of these rules? And in your view, how do you think it might impact traders and investors? Does that mean, are you bullish on it or bearish?
I'm happy you've asked that question. So we actually have a meeting with them this week with SEC. We did send them our recommendations from our group, we've met with our board from the innovative movement of the Philippine Association of Cryptocurrency Traders in the Philippines. So we've met and we've given them our recommendations as early as January 18. We'll meet them this week to kind of refine some of that. But to kind of give you a highlight, couple of things we've recommended
Sure,
is to
please
focus
do.
on, just to focus on, the focus on how can we relax a little bit some of the rules on the Kaspi influencers. We have also given recommendations on some of the requirements on Kaspi, particularly on some of the uptime requirements, etc. So, so we'll be meeting with them, and I'm excited for these discussions because it's going to be the first time. It's supposed to be the second half of last year when this was supposed to be implemented, but still, it's a good news for us from a rules perspective.
Right, and we hope you send us a copy of the updates from that meeting. We would appreciate that. Now, we need to take a breather, but when we come back, regulators are stepping in and the market is in turmoil. Is crypto in the Philippines headed for a reckoning? Coach Miranda Miner will weigh in. Stay on BNC and follow the money. Welcome back to Follow the Money, and we're still with Coach Miranda Miner. Coach, you were saying earlier that you were about to meet with the SEC, and supposing that all your recommended rules actually follow through, do you see the crypto market seeing a surge, following its approval, or does that mean more regulation means, it will dampen investor sentiment?
So if I understand your question correctly, so please let me know if I got your question, Raine. Okay, so what I heard is that it was more of the USDT payments allowed for Social Security payments. Is that what you said?
No, I was saying that you are about to meet with the SEC with your recommended rules. Which means, they're on the brink of approving a set of rules to regulate the crypto industry here in the Philippines. Do you see that as encouraging investors or actually depressing investors?
Okay, so thank you. So so I got your question now. So this is obviously for the most part, this is good news, right? When you go to the U.S. climate today with the new president, obviously Donald Trump, he formed a crypto council with Treasury Secretary as a member. So he got a lot of folks supporting even the SEC chair, the new acting SEC chair, Mark Vieda in the U.S. SEC. So they're now creating crypto rules. So for the most part, we are running parallel with the U.S. Journey or trajectory here, which is obviously for us a good news. If you remember, a couple of years ago, on the previous regime of the previous SEC chair, there was no rules at all. In fact, there was an allegation of regulation by enforcement. So therefore, with the U.S. and the Philippines creating its own rules on how to navigate cryptocurrency, for me, it's a bullish sentiment, both from an investor perspective and to the trader perspective, because for us, regulatory clarity is something that would allow you to feel you're not walking on eggshells. However, I would like to say this, that the rules that we have today, particularly on the draft that we have seen from SEC, focuses only on those that are of Kaspi, meaning those that are crypto asset service providers, which I believe is an equivalent of VASP from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So I think it will evolve. I'm happy that SEC has asked its stakeholders, I would say, to give their opinions. This is not the first time that they've asked. There's a couple of rules that they have put into the picture. For example, the 2019 and 2021 rules. And this is the last one that I've heard so far, 2025. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be something that would help guide not just local, but international investors in the long run. Potentially even Coinbase, which I've heard is obviously potentially looking into the Philippines as well.
Correct. So, which is why, I actually have three more questions here, but I do have to, kind of compress it into one. Coinbase looking at expanding in the Philippines, or at least they're being attracted to come to the Philippines and set up a base here. You also have government tapping more blockchain suppliers to secure transactions. Plus, you have emerging technologies and digital revolution accelerating in the Philippines. What is your outlook for the crypto and blockchain industry? Do you think that we are in a prime condition or prime setup environment to actually, expand at this point?
Definitely a good news. I would say they would not be putting their radar in the Philippines, particularly in Southeast Asia, if there's no potential market to tap. One thing I always look into these potential advent of big, companies, particularly in cryptocurrency, is the infrastructure they're going to be bringing in the country, and it can potentially challenge innovation to the local players, which has been a long clamor from our trading community across the Philippines. So I would say it might be too early to celebrate victory, but it's a good early sign that we're getting noticed. However, for the education of your viewers, we've been looking into comparing volumes across Southeast Asia, and one of the things that I'm seeing is that from a trader count or a warm body count standpoint, the Philippines has a lot of warm bodies, particularly interested in cryptocurrency. However, Raine, if you look into the value of money they're spending, we're way too at the lowest quartile. There are countries, for example, Korea. There might not be a lot of folks that are trading or into the space of projects, but the money that they're actually spending and the risk they're actually putting there is 100x than the Philippines. So there's a little bit of shades there, so to speak, in terms of profiles. But for the most part, one thing for sure, there's a lot of Filipinos who are interested on this, and anything that can add value to our experience from a blockchain trading perspective, like the advent of Coinbase in the Philippines, would be really, really good.
Is that a function of inflation?
It's not just, I would say, but
Purchasing
it can
power?
potentially. One, it's our nature to be, and I would like to say this in your show, it's our nature to be taking risks, and somehow in Tagalog, local parlance, it's sugal. So when they want to play small bets, so to speak, and kind of just try it out, right? And this is where I come to the picture, and educate them on obviously the use cases of the technology they're using, not just use small pieces or money to be able to participate. But I would say this is not just true for crypto. You could potentially see this as well in even the local stock market when the turnover value is also lower at this point.
Indeed it is, which is why we want to put crypto and equities to the forefront so that we can truly understand exactly how to participate in the markets and be able to grab all those opportunities. Now we come to our special segment. We would like to ask our guest a personal, off-the-cuff, and real-life follow-the-money question. Coach, you've already made a killing in crypto, but let's rewind to the start of your money journey. Everyone remembers their first big win. So our question for you is, what did you do with your very first big paycheck? How did you spend it? Or did you save it? Or did you regret it?
Okay, nice. I like this question. I gotta tell you first, I got one of my awesome paycheck. It's a signing bonus from a very big company. It's actually from my work for Google. So it's a signing bonus. Of course, I put it on crypto, and I spent something for my daughter. So that's it.
Nice, short and sweet, and definitely, multiple sources of income coming into play there. Thank you so much for that. And if you like this episode and want to join the conversation or answer that question as well, share them with us on social media, X, Facebook, and YouTube. #FollowTheMoneyBNC, and we shall post some of those answers on our next episode. Coach Miranda Miner, CEO of Global Miranda Miner Group, thank you so much for your insights on this unfolding crypto story.
Thank you, Raine, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, and grateful to have you again. See you again soon. Now, while the recent crash has shaken the market, the Philippines remains a major player in crypto adoption, and regulation may be the key to its sustainable future. And that is it for today's edition of Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.